Up with Jordan and Ron.
Hi, welcome to Hooking Up with Jordan and Ron. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Jamie.
Jamie?
Hi.
Oh, hi, Jamie.
Hello, everyone.
That's a different voice.
Yeah, it's not Ron.
It's not Ron. Ron is enjoying sunny Orlando,
Ooh.
loving it down there. Yay, Ron.
Nice.
He's still part of the show, but more behind the scenes. And
Right.
he, I hope, from time to time will join us.
I can't wait to meet him.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think you even told me you listened to like almost all the episodes.
I did. I listened to all the
Jamie.
episodes when you asked me to be a
Wow.
guest, and I was so
Aw.
excited. And I just wanted to hear about, the guests you had on and the kind of
Yeah.
things you talked about.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
and it was really
appreciate
fun.
that.
I was excited to listen to them,
Good,
Yeah.
good. Well, thanks for doing that. And
Absolutely.
glad you enjoyed them. And we're glad to have you here today. So Jamie's a friend of mine who I met just in the last year or so. I guess last
Yeah.
fall we met, right?
Right, yeah. I
And
think
really
so.
connected and have spent a lot of time together since, as you do in your 40s, and we're pretty much the same age, aren't we?
45?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Am
40
I 40? Yeah, 45.
I'm 46 now.
I'm going to be 46 this year,
Okay. When's your birthday?
August.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
you're a Leo, right?
I am.
Hell yeah. I have a fair amount of Leo friends. I'm Sagittarius, but we go hand in hand. You just get a couple of us together, and you'll have a party.
And yeah, we're single women who
Yes.
like to have fun.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it just, when you click, you click.
Exactly. Agreed. So Jamie's in a PhD program here in Ann Arbor. So lucky enough to go to this prestigious university that surrounds us.
University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And PhD, that's a lot of work.
It
man.
is. It is a lot of work. It could be isolating and lonely as well, but
Right.
it's cool because
Yeah.
I'm learning and I'm growing and I feel like I'm doing important work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and at the end of it with, what's it called? Dissertation? Is
Yep.
that okay. That you have a body of work that you can share with others, that you can publish maybe even.
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That
That's
is
really cool.
Hopefully what will happen. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a
Awesome.
5th year now, so I'm working on my dissertation. I'm done with coursework, and I'm currently on a fellowship, so I don't have to teach as a GSI,
Okay.
which is grad student instructor.
Grad student structure. Okay. And 5th year is not like a 5th year senior of undergrad. No offense. I have plenty of friends who are.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I probably would have been too if I didn't get my act together. But but in your case, a PhD program is longer, right?
It is. It's a
Okay.
7-year program.
Okay.
And I've already gotten my undergrad degrees.
Uh-huh.
So I got my associate's degree in prison. We'll talk about that later.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
I transferred when I got out. I went to UC Berkeley. And
Also fancy.
yeah. Different kind of fancy.
I did not go to either of those schools myself. That's okay.
And now I'm here. And
Wow.
yeah.
All
So I love it. I
Yeah.
love school. I was incarcerated for a while and while I was inside, I taught women, helped women get their GEDs
Oh,
and high
wow.
school diplomas.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
That's
adult
awesome.
ed. And so I found comfort in
Yeah.
education. And
Nice.
when I was going to school at Berkeley, I was just like not ready to stop. I just wanted to keep learning and going to school. And then I
Okay.
found out you don't need to pay for a PhD program.
What?
No, they
Wait a
pay.
second.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, how does that work?
Right. They basically, you do research, you get experience with research either in undergrad or after undergrad.
Yeah.
If you leave school for a while and you're doing work and you realize you want to do more research, you can go back and apply for a research program, a PhD program. And basically, you are teaching to supplement your income
Okay.
for the university, and
Yeah.
the university pays your tuition.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It is. It's
oh
really
my
cool.
gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't get paid a whole lot.
I mean, you're really investing. Well, okay, but you're investing a whole lot of time
Exactly.
in it, which
Yeah.
I think maybe I don't know if people would always be willing to do that.
Right. Well,
whether
a
they
lot
were
of-
paying for it or being paid to do it.
Right. No, because you're not getting paid a lot and you're in school. And a lot of people are done with school and they're like, I am ready to go out into
Yeah.
the world and
Yeah.
make money, you
Sure.
know, because it's a lot of reading and writing
Right.
and research, and it's not for everyone, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
It's funny, I've thought about getting a master's at different times, and I started work towards one after working for a few years.
Well, I
and
totally thought you had one.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that you think
You're
I have
just
a
really
master's.
intelligent. You're easy,
Thank you,
you know,
thank you.
you're
Okay.
well read and like
Wow,
clearly very well
thanks.
spoken. So
Thank you. Yeah. But it's really hard work. And the
It
one
is.
I was going towards one at a school in New York City called the New School.
Uh-huh.
And it was in media studies. And I think part of it was overwhelming the amount of work you have to do.
Uh-huh.
So you were writing like a couple papers a week.
Yep.
And that's just like, that was a bit overwhelming. It was also like a change in life. I was living in New York for the first time. That was a short-lived experience, but still glad I did it. Was only there for like 8 or 9 months.
Okay.
And I don't know. I saw like, okay, where is this going to go? What I was kind of doing the media theory side of it. There was a lot of writing and reading and research, and then also doing the audio production side of it, which I enjoyed a great deal. But then am I going to do that full time? Am I going to, like, where does this lead?
Will you be stuck working in that field once you
Right.
get this, and then are you limited? And
Exactly. So it just, I decided it wasn't for me, but I was so glad to have had the experience and really got to dive deep into the topics that I was passionate about how the media influences us. And I don't know if you're familiar with like the teachings of Marshall McLuhan, but it's all like the whole idea is the media is the message is an interesting concept. You may have heard that term before. The media is the message, or the medium is the message. It's
Maybe.
okay. It's from the 60s, but it's all just sort of how we are so influenced by what we consume, which, as we all know, with social media, continues to be correct in this present day,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
But anyways,
That's interesting.
I got into HR after that, and have thought about. I have certification in HR, and thought about doing,
Going back.
masters. But I don't know. It's like, is it really necessary? And those are not free.
Right.
Those are expensive.
That's right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I am. Sorry.
It's never too late to go back to school, because this is what someone said that I caught on to, and it really made a lot of sense. Time is going to go by regardless.
Oh my gosh, exactly.
The time
you might
will
as
go
well
by.
do the things.
So do the things.
Yes.
Because,
Agree.
In 5 years, it's going to be 5 years later. And if you thought about, I want to go to school, but it's too late or whatever, it'll be 5 years from now. And you can say, like, I went back to school and I got a master's. Or you can say, like, I didn't because I thought that I was too old. And now here I am 5 years later without one.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you want to do and how you want to spend your time. Like you said, it's expensive, but a lot of people, they, like me, I just like learning. I like reading and research. I ended up being pretty good at research.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I
didn't
actually
even
am pretty good at it.
I guess there probably is like good ways to do it and not. And these days it's different. When I was in college, it was very much book based.
Yeah, you go to the library. Right.
And now is it all online?
There's
is
a lot
there
of
any
stuff
book
online.
Stuff? Or?
Absolutely. Well, being in history, so I'm in history and women's and gender studies.
Okay.
So it's a joint program. I'm in 2 schools. And in history, we have digital archives, but we don't have them all digitized. So I still do go to libraries
and have to get the physical item.
State archives, and
Oh.
especially because I'm researching women's prisons.
Okay.
Those records are in state archives, and they're definitely not a priority to get digitized.
Wow. Is it public information? Can anyone go look at that stuff?
No. So
Interesting.
the archives themselves are documents that are, as old as, hundreds of years old.
Wow.
And so they have to keep them at the rooms that they are held in at a certain temperature.
Oh,
You have to be,
wow.
professional.
Yep.
You can't just come in off the street and say, hey, I want to look at these old prison records because I'm interested. And,
Okay.
you need to be associated with a research institution or school.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And, be kind of careful with the documents and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
How interesting. That kind of reminds me, when I lived in D.C., so I lived in D.C. for about 5 years after college with some friends, and really loved the experience. And the Library of Congress is such a cool place to go to. Talk about like where all the things are, right? And was really into Catcher in the Rye and why can't I think of the name of the author? Oh my gosh. I was almost going to say Seinfeld. That is not the name. That is incorrect, Jordan. Oh my gosh, I should just pick a book up off my shelf.
Why
can't I think of it? Oh.
It's like on the tip of my tongue and I can't.
I can even see his face. Salinger. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Jeez. Okay, that took long enough.
That's right.
So, yeah, J.D. Salinger, and who is kind of like a famous, like, non-celebrity celebrity, where like he doesn't want to be seen or heard from or like be bothered, and either I think it's New Hampshire or Vermont, like lived in his house in his little town and didn't want to be bugged or anything, didn't want to be interviewed, anything for so long. So he had a lot of rare books, not rare books, rare writing that was in the rare and special books reading room at the Library of Congress. And so I went there once, and what you're talking about, it seems very similar, because they would have a lot of these like old Bibles and old tomes of whatever that were like giant books, but like under glass. Some cases you had to wear gloves.
Yep.
And you couldn't bring, I like put my stuff in a locker. You could bring in just you, and you couldn't even bring your own notepad. They would give you paper to take notes.
Wow.
And a pencil. And so then you go and you look at this old, because it was unpublished. And this was back in 2003, I think, or 4 when I did this. So fun, so interesting. I think some of that stuff was later published. Since then, it's been a while. Cool. But, and I think he's since passed. But, wow, just...
We are such nerds.
Yeah. But it's fun to, like... Yeah, those experiences are so interesting.
I get so lost in the archives, and I love it. Because, when I got out, I did not want to study incarceration. I did not want to look back. I just wanted to read and write and enjoy learning.
Yeah, and live your life and just be free. I mean, gosh, wow.
Yeah, and then it was like, well, I kind of have a particular perspective that academia actually values that I didn't realize at the time, And so I'm like, well, I love history, and I love finding things from the past that explain how we got here and why we're at this moment, and understanding, the different avenues and paths we could have taken, why we ended up taking, the ones that led us to this moment. So I am definitely more into hanging out and hiding in the archives and reading old documents than I am being like, on the front lines in social justice work. And not that I'm not into activism. It's just in a certain way. I feel like I kind of did my time on the front lines, and a lot of people get out and they are very involved in activism and going, to legislature and like getting really involved in the organizations that are doing these, amazing work and making change. Yep. And I'm just not like, I definitely like learning more about history and writing about history.
From that perspective.
Right.
Well, and it's still those writings of any topic helps progress, right?
Yes.
It still pushes things forward. It brings knowledge to the communities of people who are going to take action in the public sphere.
Hopefully.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And I guess along those lines, have you seen things improve from when you were, incarcerated to now? I mean, even through your research, are you... I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to bend it like in a toxically positive way.
No,
but,
not at all.
I don't know. More so curious. Like, are conditions better? Are they? Because you do hear some stories. Like, what is that one? Alabama Project? I don't think I'm going to watch that documentary about the prison system. And it's a men's prison system in Alabama.
And they like snuck in a phone.
Yes.
And
it was just like terrible.
It's horrific.
I don't think I'm going to watch it.
It depends. One thing that people don't understand, even inside, you really are just stunned to learn that things are not uniform. They are not consistent. In fact, we would say inside the only thing consistent about prison is the inconsistency.
Oh, geez.
Which you would never think that it's inconsistent inside, but you have one change in administration, like an associate warden comes on, and they're changing all kinds of rules. And so,
and that's allowed? They have that that ability or that autonomy, I guess?
Totally.
Really?
Because it is, it's so like secretive, and people aren't really able to see what's going on inside. So they can kind of experiment with like rules and regulations and do what they think should be done. And, it's really awkward actually when you're used to
a lot of government systems are less organized than people realize,
right? Yeah, totally. You're used to having a certain time where you get to go in the yard and see your friends, and then all of a sudden one day they change your yard time and you're separated from the other units and you never see your friends ever.
And there's no notice. There's no like, hey, by the way, your schedule is changing. It's just...
No. Yeah. I mean, there might be like, hey, you know, we're changing the schedule and, you know, movement and whatever. But a lot of times it's not. It's just, hey, this is the new rule now.
I don't know. Gosh. I mean, I guess, you know, there is some understanding, I guess, in a corrective... Is that what it's called? Like corrective environment?
Well, they call it corrections. It's not. It's punitive, which means
sure.
It's basically
punishment. Yeah. That you're not going to have the same rights, right? You're in prison. You're not at home, or, you know, house arrest, or even just like regular person in society. But but I still, there's got to be, it just sounds like it could be better.
Yeah,
course,
and
you know?
there's just so much that the public doesn't know.
Right.
And people assume that it's the worst of the worst inside. If you're in prison, you deserve what you get. You've obviously done some horrible thing to belong there, and that's just not the case.
No,
and I think that started changing around the time 13th was came out. It was produced, and it was about the 13th Amendment and the loophole of slavery being legal in carceral spaces.
Yeah.
So people started to finally listen, and historians finally started to listen around the time of 2010, and I was locked up during that time.
Okay.
So there have been changes in public knowledge and, you know, people inquiring about what's going on inside. Yep. So that is a little bit comforting. However, the problems remain. Right. And there's still horrific stuff going on. There is a woman in the women's prison here in Michigan who has mold growing out of her ears and nose. Whoa. Because they just won't get her the medical care that she needs. What? Yeah. Another woman died recently there because she had MRSA infection. Yeah. And they did not get her treatment and she died. Oh. And the public is, you know, not privy to the information that, like, you know, these women aren't necessarily there because they're horrible people. You know, they're there because they didn't have money for an attorney. There's so much circumstance, right behind. There's so much, like, to everyone has a story. Everyone has, like, there's more to it. It doesn't mean that maybe they didn't do the crime or that they didn't do something wrong. Right, and that they should have some rehabilitation probably. I mean, I got sober back when I first got arrested. Yeah. You know, and I've been sober now for a very long time, but it wasn't prison that got me sober. Sure. But, you know, for some people it probably is. For some people it definitely is. Yeah. You know, but you're not going to go to prison and get treatment for it. That's the thing. Oh, geez. And so it's not like a good environment in which to go through those things. Right. Per se. No, in fact, it causes more trauma, which is why people drink and use drugs in the first place. Sure. You know, is to deal with that trauma from whether it's childhood or whatever. You're trying to just deal with life. Wow. And, you know, it's definitely not rehab. They call it corrections to be politically correct. Sure. But they don't have much correcting going on. Oh, man. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Wow. So. Well, I'm happy to hear you're doing the research, you're doing the work. Sounds like a good amount of people are, to get a story, you know, across and to see what can be done progress-wise. Right. We definitely need more. Yeah. I mean, for sure. You know, there's a lot more to learn, and it's great that people are starting to get more involved and open up, just being willing to learn more about, you know, what's actually going on. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know? And it's so interesting because, in this city, the people you can meet that are studying things like this, just contributing to the world in other ways from what you're doing in life. I mean, it's so interesting to me. I think we're lucky to have Ann Arbor. I love it here. I love it here too. Honestly, I know. I was talking with a friend yesterday, just along the same lines, you know, of just the knowledge that's here, and that people are, moving things forward in society. I like to think, that we're a thriving community, and really so much of Michigan, including Detroit, you know, has a lot of that happening. But to be in like a higher education environment is pretty neat. I mean, the whole town is built around the university. Right, exactly. Like the majority of people employed in Ann Arbor are employed through the University of Michigan. Absolutely. But it's really a cool town. Everyone's pretty friendly. It's like the Midwestern, you know, but like forward thinking, and it's just it's a joy. It's fun to be here.
Aw, I
Yeah, I like
agree.
it.
I agree. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully I get to come back
I
sometime.
hope so. It would be great to have you. Maybe
Yeah.
we can interview some folks together or
Totally.
something.
That'd
I
be
don't know. We'll
great.
see. Well,
Awesome.
thanks for joining us today, everybody. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to reach out and send ideas our way of any other topics you'd like to hear or guests you'd like to have join us on the show. And thanks for listening to Hooking Up with Jordan and Ron. We'll see you next time.
Bye.